Pyrrols, the Perylenes, and the Chinese white, the buff titanium, and one I don't have with me, I tried to find it, is the gray titanium. So we'll kind of go over a little bit over naming structure. We'll see the colors. I've asked the brand ambassadors and any of you, would love to see you paint along so we can actually showcase you. That'd be fantastic. I want to present as many tools as you would like to see. So if there's something that you want to see and I'm not showing you, please let me know and I'll show you next time. So with that, why don't we'll talk about Pyrrols. So Pyrrols are opaque colors and they have very high brightness. They're really, really bright colors. Excellent light fastness and very, very strong pigment strength. So Pyrrol, and then we'll be looking at these today. So Pyrrol. And Perylenes are transparent colors. They have excellent light fastness as well, and they have very, very strong pigments. Very, very pretty colors. Titanium white is our most opaque white. Chinese white has a slightly less opacity and is slightly warmer, and I'll show you how you can see that on the C-Lab and on the color map. Buff titanium is opaque and is much warmer than either of the two, and gray titanium is opaque and cooler when mixing. Okay, so those are the things that we're going to see today. I'm going to flip this down. So Danny's watching from the Philippines. Hello, Danny. Kathy is seeing me on Facebook. Thank you. Christine's seeing me on Facebook. Martina in Germany, and Carmel from Ireland, and Joke from Holland, all over the world. And pretty soon Anna in Africa. So pretty cool. So I'm going to switch cameras here. If you're on Facebook, you can ask questions directly. So when I come back from our Germany show, I will have this issue with the cameras. I'm actually going to use physical cameras that can zoom in and zoom out, because I cannot figure out on these Logitech cameras how to flip it. It always wants to flip back. But Ethel's also going to show you, so it's going to, you'll see a real good version of this. This is right off of the Daniel Smith site. You can download any spreadsheet. And this one here is the pigment characteristics, and Ethel will be showing you a really good one. And what I did is I wanted to show you the colors we're looking at today. So I have the buff titanium, the titanium white, etc. It has the common name. It has the color index name. For example, titanium white, buff titanium, gray titanium are all pigment white number 6. And we went over that some time ago, why different colors can have the same pigment. So we'll go over that. We'll go over the naming structure as we start going into the naming structure portion. All 4 of those are non-staining. They're all excellent light fastness, which means 100+ years. The titanium weight, buff titanium is granulating. Titanium white is non-granulating. Gray titanium is granulating, and Chinese white is non-granulating. And all 4 of them are semi-transparent. I also printed out so you would see it. This right here is the C-Lab, and it shows the quadrant. So this is online as well. So you can see whether it is in the warmest, cool, or coolest quadrant. And if we look at Chinese white is warm, titanium is warm, and the buff and the gray are the warmest. So when we look at the color map, this is the warmest, this is the cool, this is the coolest, and this is warm. So For those of you that just love math, you can actually look at the numbers in your head, do the X and Y coordinates. But if you don't want to, I just went ahead and listed them. The interesting thing as well, you can see the L value, which is the brightness value. So if you wanted to say, okay, how does Chinese white deal, compared to titanium white? Well, one's at 97 and one's at 96. If I looked at the brightness, they are all very, very, very bright. The only thing that would be off the chart would be the luminescence, which would be way out here. So those two colors are very, very bright. The buff titanium being an 88 is going to fall, if this is 50, it's going to fall somewhere in here. So less than those two, less than Chinese white, less than titanium white. And then the gray titanium is a 73. So it's even going to be under the buff titanium. So lots of tools for you to be able to use. It just depends on whether you want to use them or not. I just want to make sure that they're available to you. Ethel, can we actually see the better version that you have? That way everybody can really see what I just showed.
Sure.
Please.
Do you want to start with the TLAB or the Excel, the list in the Excel file?
Let's just look at the Excel file. And again, this is available online. You can download any of these and play with them any way you want. You can search, for example, if you wanted the color index and you wanted to choose everything that had a pigment red 178, you could do that. You could find that, list that out and see every color that has that pigment, if that's what you wanted to do. So lots of ways of playing with it.
Okay, here we go. This one first, John. Do we see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just a better way of seeing it. You can see under the English, this is a download right from the website. So you can see the buff titanium, the titanium white. You can see the common name is buff titanium and titanium white. You can see the color index, pigment white number 6, shade 1, and pigment white number 6. And then the characteristics for these: non-staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. So if you were somebody looking for doing a lot of layering, you would look, for example, the Perylene violet, which is transparent. You could actually do, easily up to 4 different colors if they're transparent. So you do a lot of glazing or layering. Semi-transparent, probably 3. And if they were opaque, 1. So it's just another tool that you have in your toolbox if you want to play with it. Okay.
We proceed to the other file, John?
That'd be great.
Okay. This one.
Yeah, so this is just the one that's the C-Lab on the site. And I just took a subset of what we're looking at today, but it has every color. So you could sort it by the brightness value, which would be the L value, is the brightness value. You could sort it by either the A or B, which would be the yellow, blue, or the red, green. You could do that if you wished. So you just get to play with it any way you want. And then you can actually add tools together. You just get even more.
Do you want us to proceed to showing the C-Lab?
Yeah, I'd like people to see at least the maybe the 2 whites, whatever ones you put together, Ethel.
We have all 4 white titanium ready.
Awesome. Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna, per our discussion last week, I'm gonna try to make this tool easier. We can actually go down the listing of the colors that are in alpha and just click on it, and it would automatically populate these drawdowns that you see. So what Ethel's done is she's gone through the map and she's highlighted the 4 colors: the titanium white, the buff titanium, the Chinese white, and the gray titanium. That way you could see the characteristics underneath them, but you could also visually look at them. And there really is a titanium white there. It's just so very, very, very bright. All you're seeing is it over black, and over white, it's just super white. So Chinese white, as you look at it, not as white as the titanium. And there's the gray and the buff. So, I think for some people, they just want to see what a color would look like. This is a great tool to be able to do that. And then if you double click on it, can you double click on, how about buff titanium or
okay.
gray titanium?
There you go.
It'll just bring up a bigger image and kind of a story about it. Okay. Okay. Ethel, thank you very much.
Welcome. We have, maybe you want to quickly show Giovanni's swatch earlier, John?
Absolutely.
Okay, here we go. There.
Very nice.
Yeah, a little mixing from, this is buff titanium, gray titanium, titanium white. And this is a buff with pearl scarlet, titanium white with pearl scarlet, and gray titanium with pearl scarlet. I created a beautiful tone. Oops, sorry.
You're so good at that. Nice job, Giovanni.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
It's different to white paper and black paper. Very interesting. And now the last mix is buff titanium and gray titanium.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I created a little warmer tone, mixing 5% gray titanium and buff. Very cool.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Don.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask if anybody watching, we're going to be looking at the Pyrrols and the Perylenes, and if you can mix those maybe with the buff, the Chinese white, or the other titanium, that might be interesting for people to see. Okay. So let's look at the Pyrrols. I really love the Pyrrols. They're just really bright. I get myself in trouble by not putting these caps all the way back on. Start doing that. And then we're going to look at a couple of the new gouache that just came out of the lab. I borrowed them from my chemist, and I will show you those if you want to see them.
John, at the beginning, you introduced the Pyrrols and the Perylenes, the reds, and talking about their specific characteristics. Is it fair to say that the characteristics that we talked about will cross over, whether we're talking about watercolor, gouache, or oil? They're going to be bright all the way across, etc. Is that a correct assumption or no?
So Anna, it could be. It could be. Let's put it that way. Let me change this video. So it could be that the difference is within an oil, it's within a linseed matrix. So when light hits it, it's going to be different. For example, if we look at lapis and watercolor, it's a very baby blue. If we look at lapis and oil, it's a very dark blue. And that's because it has to go through that linseed matrix. And when it bounces back differently. So it really, the best I can say is it depends. The difference between, I'll show you the gouache is just, it's made specifically, and I wanted to go over that in a little while. There's a reason that we don't call it a watercolor, even though it has the same exact pigment and the same exact binder. And that's because there's so much of it. It was the way that we were able to make it really opaque, and not only opaque, but matte. Could you get there? Sure, you could really water it down and get to that watercolor. But no, and I'll show you some, they're really not, they're different animals. The watercolor, you could make the same animal. You could actually keep on wetting it down to get to the same part as a watercolor, but not with the oils. It's a good question. And then acrylics would be even more different because the polymer that you're pushing light through is even going to be more different than the linseed oil. And really, if you really want to see what a color looks like, there's no better way to see what it looks like than in watercolor, because essentially all the gum arabic is doing is holding it to the paper, so you're really seeing the pigment. So when you see that baby blue lapis, it is a baby blue lapis. Yeah, good question. I'm gonna flip this one more time. So Anna, Mark, do you use Pyrrols?
Mark, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I use, well, I've got a Pyrrol red and I've got Pyrroline green. But Pyrrol is really nice for, well, I like painting cars. I can show you one here. Oh, there we go. You can see that?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Is that a painting?
That's a painting, yeah.
That is really cool.
That's Pyrrol red. And it's multiple layers of washes to get it in the nice, deep, saturated red.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Is that a Corvette?
It is.
Yeah.
59, I think.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
I was just able to use transparent Pyrrol orange on a portrait, and it worked so well for the warmth and the life in the face. And I always blame Gabriel on this. He introduced me to that color. So I thought it worked great as a portrait because so often I see it in landscapes and pumpkins on the synthetic side. So it was a great color.
So yesterday, I was able to go see Stella. Stella was on Whidbey Island, which is not that far away. About a ferry ride in about 2 hours. And it was neat to see her and her whole workshop. It was very interesting. Here, what's this here? Here we go. Okay, so those are the Pyrrols. This is Pyrrol Scarlet. This is Pyrrol Red. We call it, someone says, what is the brightest red you have? This is kind of like fire engine red. Is that how your artwork came out, Mark? Is it super, super vibrant red, or did you wash it down?
For the painting, I washed it down and then used layers, probably around about, I'd say, between 12 and 18 layers.
Oh my gosh, very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
And this is the Pyrrol Orange. This is Pyrrol Crimson. And then this is transparent Pyrrol Orange. I don't know why it does that. There we go. Come on. This camera has its own mind. There's days there it goes. So super, super bright colors. So I see if anybody else is painting along. Hello, Belle. And there's Victoria. Would any of you like to show your artwork? Because you certainly can. Okay. And Giovanni, are you doing the Pyrrols?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
would you like to show everybody?
Yeah. All the Pyrrols?
If you have them, there you go.
Okay. Now, for example, these mixings with transparent Pyrrol orange with buff titanium, titanium white, and gray titanium create a very cool tone. And now I use the Pyrrol red for the mixing. Oops, sorry. I check the camera. Okay. For the Pyrrol red in black paper and white paper. Very cool color. And show John my little exercise for my eyes. I prepare for you. Then side by side with Pyrrol red is a simple exercise for training my eyes with the real quantity of dot. This is in the center, 1 dot of Pyrrol red. On the right, 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots with titanium white. And on the left side, plus 1 dot, 2 dots, 3 dots for the with lamp black. It's a perfect exercise for the gradient. And when, for example, in the left side, I have one error because it's not similar, it's not perfect, sorry, not perfect to gradient, but change the vibrancy with titanium white. Is a simple exercise for create a real quantity of dot. It's very, very, very simple, but it's a big exercise for your eyes. This is with Pyrrol red.
Very nice.
It's only for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
John, I think we have a question from Ashley. Go ahead, Ashley.
Hello. I actually don't have a question. I just wanted to show transparent Pyrrol orange, and it's tiny swatches because I'm using my dot cards. I don't know if you guys can see that. Transparent Pyrrol orange.
Yeah.
And then I've got my buff titanium and my gray titanium. Titaniums.
Very nice.
And then this one's Perylenes green. I think that's what it is. Yep, Perylenes. So I've been quietly watching in the background since last June and just being a creeper. So hi.
Thank you, Ashley. No one's a creeper.
You're welcome.
So thank you. Awesome. So I'm putting down the Perylenes, and you kind of see the Perylenes are not quite as bright as the Pyrrols. This is the Perylene green, and this is the Perylene maroon. I have to think maroon 5. I cannot say that word maroon if I don't put maroon 5, the music people behind it, because my brain just doesn't want to say. So it's just something else. Okay, and this is the Perylene red. I should put that right beside this other one so you can kind of see it. In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put the Perylene red beside this Perylene red. You can see it's very pretty, but it's not as vibrant as the Pyrrol. It's kind of it's just a little bit. It's still bright, but not as bright as the Pyrrol. So there it is over there. And this is the Perylenes scarlet. And I'll put the Perylenes scarlet next to the Pyrrols scarlet. I don't know if you can see that. Nowhere as bright as the Pyrrol scarlet, but very pretty. Hello, Caroline.
Could I share my Peryline maroon and Pyrrol scarlet tomatoes?
Please. Oh, those are nice. I'm looking at a big view.
Wow.
Oh, very nice.
I don't know why it's going in and out like that.
It's your background,
It's the
Jill.
Zoom background.
Yeah, but we could see the colors, so.
Those tomatoes are making me hungry.
They're very pretty.
Those are
Very
my
nice.
favorite. That Pyrrol scarlet can't be beat.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. So the last one I did right here is the Peryline violet. So super, super vibrant, and then vibrant. All right, then the last three are, there's four. Giovanni has the fourth one. I have the Chinese white. I asked quite a bit about the Chinese white. The Chinese white, to me anyway, they're very close on the C-Lab, but it seems to be, to me, warmer than the, it's warmer than the titanium white. And then we can look at the gouache.
Wow.
So if you have favorite colors and you want to see a favorite colors, you can just put that inside the comments and I'll pull those out and we can look at those together. And if you want, you can turn your camera off or leave your camera on, but maybe you can tell people why it's your favorite color. I can get that ready for well, what can I do the next time? So next time we do this, I will be in Germany. I can still do it. I'll have all the colors with me.
We have a note on Facebook from Caroline Diebel.
Yeah, hello, Caroline.
Says, I selected Peryline Scarlet for my dot cards as I found it to be a wonderful mixing color, as well as beautiful red to use in my work.
Awesome. I think Caroline makes everything look so easy, and her art is so very cool. I'm going to review my titanium, and I got them all mixed up with that Pyrrol red is so red. Even my titanium white has a pink tint to it. So I'm going to do one more time. So if you could share, what do each of you have, for those of you that want to answer it, what do you have as your favorite color? What is the color you can't live without? No, what is the color you like? You can live without it. What is the color you like? How about you, Anna? What color can't you live without?
I've been enjoying exploring the transparent pyrrole orange, but one of my favorites, I have a close category of burnt sienna, burnt umber, and raw sienna. Those combinations are hard colors for me. But I've been enjoying playing with the transparent pyrrole orange for about the last year when Gabriel introduced his pumpkins.
Awesome. Elisa, how about you? What's your favorite color you can't live without?
I can only choose one.
No, just as many as you want.
Can I just read the whole list of all 260 colors?
266 now.
I really like Piemontite Genuine
Mm.
and Cerulean Blue. Those two are really good.
Oh, very cool.
And they mix beautifully. Oh, they're so dreamy.
Giovanni, do you have Piemontite and the Cerulean Blue?
Yeah,
Could you show what the mix looks like,
yeah, absolutely.
please? I would ask you, Elisa, I don't know if you have them on your desk or not. If you do, that'd be fantastic if you could show.
Yeah, they're under the cats right now.
Oh,
We have more answers in the chat, in Zoom chat, John.
oh yes?
Yeah.
What are some of the choices?
I think
Raffaelli's Monte Amiata. That's interesting. That's a neat card. Carolyn Devil is Quinacridone Coral. Is my favorite red. It gives fire and brightness. Thank you, both of you.
yeah, Jean, Quinacridone Burnt Scarlet, Steve, Sap Green, Anna, Candela, Quinacridone Rose, and Jill, Pyrrole Scarlet and Taylor Blue. Allison said right now it's Prussian Green.
Wow.
Maureen has 3, French Ultramarine, Burnt Sienna, and Sepia.
I must say the ultramarines are certainly my favorites.
And
Thank you.
Alex
Just
said-
like, I'm sorry.
Sally, go ahead, Sally.
I've been using just the Earth palette, Buff Titanium, Raw Sienna Light, Bronzite Genuine, Venetian Red, Burnt Sienna Light. Oh, I said that already. And Lunar Black. And I've added into that Indigo and Sap Green and Prussian Blue. And I've been restricting myself just to those colors lately. It's a good exercise and I've really enjoyed them.
Very, very cool. Thank you.
On Facebook, Rena is mentioning she loves Cobalt Blue, Sepia, Quinacridone Burnt Orange. And I'd be curious, John, you often mention that different parts of the world have different favorites. Do you want to run over what you found with that? What are some of the favorites for the different areas?
You know what? Yeah, the ones that in Portugal, we could not keep the Piemontite. We couldn't keep it. Our distributor couldn't keep it on the shelf. It just sold out. In Asia, a lot of it is the Quin Burnt Orange. In the US, a lot of it is the Quin Gold. So I think for me anyway, and I think many people, you tend to really you like the colors, use the colors that you're around the most. I've always been around water, so I really like the blues. It just blues, and from California, the brown hills, the browns. So those are probably the biggest. Quinacridone Gold in the U.S., Quin Burnt Orange outside the U.S. That is that's beautiful, Giovanni, and thank you, Elisa. That's a good combination.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really cool combination. So Piemontite and cerulean blue. The granulation is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a wet on wet, only dry. Yeah. I try on wet on wet. Wet surface.
Piemontite gives a beautiful pink wash when you do big area. It's very good for deserts.
It's good for roofs too. The roofs in Portugal, very cool. So I think learning the words is really important. I've gone to groups where we've talked about granulating, and then I ask people, and if they would raise their hand if they don't know what granulation means. And there's actually quite a few people in each group that don't know what granulation means, and I think it's really good when we're whether you use it or not, when we're on the same page, because it's really cool to be able to share and having dialogue about that. So those are granulation is really awesome. So now you're doing wet into wet?
Yeah.
Very cool. So Rafael says he can name two. The second is cobalt blue. I think his first was Quin Sienna. No, it was Monte Amiata Natural. How about, so next week I'm going to be traveling, but how about we pick, if any of you would like to pick your 2 or 3 favorite colors and show how those looked mixed, or your favorite way, I'd love to be able to show it so other people can see it. I think the more that we see is fantastic. When I was doing during COVID in the artist studio, one thing that I noticed is probably 90% of the artists did color study before they did their work. They would take 2 to 3 colors, and on the back of their paper there'd be 15 or 20 different variations before they ever did their painting. And I thought that was such a super interesting thing to see. I'd love to see yours if you do those. That'd be really neat. I think that might be interesting for people to hear as well. So let me show you. Giovanni already did this. But
John, I think Victoria
Yes.
would like to share her artwork.
Would love to see.
I'm gonna.
So this is actually my mother's. She's camera shy, so she's right next. There she is. There's her head, part of her head. So this is her color wheel. And then this is what she did with quinacridone gold, which is her current favorite, with that triad. Just playing around. Yeah. But you can see all the
variations.
Just really fun.
Very nice.
Nice.
There you go, Mom.
Thank you for sharing that. Awesome. So this is the titanium. This is the Chinese white. This is the titanium white, and this is the buff titanium. And this is something that Anna talks about. It's kind of neat when you put a dark, not just the dark. It really just shows how those colors really pop. Less subtle, right? But subtle. And then, not so subtle.
Can I share my favorite color?
Absolutely.
Okay. So mine's Perylenes green. And I bought this, I think I bought this last June. And as you can see, it's almost done. I did this painting last year. I'll show it to you. It's kind of big. And then, whoa. Reflection. This is Perylenes green. So sorry about that.
Yeah.
Mix, and I think I've got a little bit of Cascade green in there. So, and this is Amazonite genuine, which is my other favorite color.
Very cool.
But lots of green going on here.
So that had lots of granulation in it then.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love seeing people's artwork, and when they can explain it, it's really awesome. Okay, so those are the colors. those are colors we're going to look at today, were the Perylenes, the Pyrrols, the 4 whites, the Chinese white, titanium white, buff titanium, and then gray titanium. Trying to read Carolyn's message. So Raphael's paramontite is a great maroon brown. Awesome. Okay, so let me show you this.
May I mention on Facebook, Caroline was mentioning about using a limited palette and starting with a limited palette. And I agree with that statement. And I found that so helpful to start with a limited palette to understand the secondary characteristics. And from that then gives you the freedom to start exploring the other colors that you otherwise wouldn't have tried. I otherwise would not have tried the rose, the green that Ashley just introduced, but now
Yes.
seeing Ashley's work, I'm like, okay, now I know my limited palette, now I can explore that one and see, okay, she loves it, let's see how it behaves.
Awesome. So this is a gouache, and there's lots of questions about the gouache. And we call it a water media versus a watercolor, even though it has the same exact pigment and the same exact binder, gum arabic. And that's because it can cause confusion. And the confusion is, if we look at lamp black, this is lamp black watercolor, it's an opaque, but it's not anywhere near as, it's not as matte as the gouache, because the gouache are matte, and much more opaque, if you will. And you can tell a little bit, it's going to be hard to see this on the screen. I'm just going to get the light to do this. I did this so I could show people. Anyway, if I look at the watercolor, maybe if I do this, you can see, I'm trying to figure out how this camera can get the light to show you this. There we go. Kind of see it right in here. You can see the marks of the brush. See that? Kind of see the gradient? That's watercolor. The gouache, it's just so heavy, you don't see any of that. So watercolor, it's opaque, watercolor, gouache. Okay. And then these are the new colors. I took this from my chemist today. We're working on about 40 plus new colors for the gouache. So this is, tell me if you can guess what it is. Any guesses?
Pearlescent.
Iridescent white.
Pearlescent.
Pearlescent white. Pearlescent white.
Pearlescent.
Pearlescent.
Yeah, this is pearlescent white. So this is mass tone. And this is 1:1, 1 part water to 1 part paint. And this is 1:1, 1 part water, 1 part paint to 1 part titanium white. And it just shows, we're just trying to show the load. So heavy load. Okay. This is, so we're still testing these out. This is, this one is.
Iridescent copper.
Venetian.
Okay, who said that? Who said that?
Ma.
Me, Mark.
Yeah. You guys are good at this. When you get in 2 guesses or 1 guess, that's really super good. Yes, this is iridescent copper. Iridescent copper.
It looks also like a bronze.
It does. Bronze a little bit more
yellow,
right?
Green.
Yeah, yellow. Yeah. So there we go. And how about this one?
Yellow ochre.
Is it?
That's the new one.
Indian yellow.
Hazel.
It's chrome titanate.
Yeah.
Chrome titanate. It's the new color.
Yeah. Trying to have this camera focus. Here we go. So it's really okay. And how about, so it looks different on this screen that does here in front of me, but I think you'll still get what it is. What do you think it is?
Seems like Is it yellow blue turquoise?
It's kind of cheating a little bit because it looks really blue on the screen, at least the way I'm seeing here. It's much more greener here. And it's a color I'm sure many of you have.
Cobalt teal.
It's cobalt teal blue. Yes, Giovanni, that's right. Cobalt teal blue. So this is the cobalt teal blue version. So yeah, you could wet this down and get to this, you know, if you wet it down a bunch, you could get to what the watercolor looks like. But you might as well just use the watercolor to do that. And how about this one? Around.
Iridescent gold.
You guys are just good. This is iridescent. Yeah, iridescent gold.
Iridescent gold.
Yeah.
Does it look like the gold ground?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah. Except this one, you know, it's water media. You can always re-wet it, which is kind of cool. So those are the 5 of 37. So as we do them, I will show you what they look like, so you can see what they look like.
Hey, John?
Yeah, there they are right there all together, kind of. Yes, yep.
I know the gouache tubes are new, but are there any plans to make gouache sticks?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd have to think about that because this are already super loaded with pigment. I don't know how we could load them anymore. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, one way you could do it, you could certainly open up the tube, and when it dries, it would be much similar to a stick. Let me think about that. That's didn't even cross my mind. Yeah. Okay.
Anna?
Hi.
Go ahead.
Oh, hi, John. Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to share my my favorite, absolute favorite, Queen Rose, and it's mixed with ultramarine. Oh, is it showing backwards? Probably.
I can read it perfectly.
Oh, good. Okay.
You're way better at that.
Sorry, it's really wet and it's really low quality paper, but really high quality paint. So I love it. And this is wet on wet like Giovanni just did. Yeah. And sorry, I know it is dripping. It's still sorry, but it's Queen Rose and ultramarine, and I just love the combination. Is one of my favorite, and it's just a beautiful
very
combo.
nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I believe you're wearing those colors.
Yes, all over. Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so Carolyn, you were right. It was copper. Pearlescent white, she was right again. God, you're good at that. Is there any other mixes you would like to see? Because I'll ask Giovanni since he has just about everything there. Yes, please.
So when you're painting those colors on the black, is that just black paper?
No, actually, these right here, I'll do this this way. This is our black ground.
Okay. Because I have an idea for a Christmas card next year, and I want it to be like a black night with a scene on it. So I could use that black ground then.
Yeah. So the black ground,
cool.
We call in the ground, we call it Mars black. In the watercolor, we call it lunar black.
Okay.
In the ground, it doesn't move, right? There is no movement, so therefore there is no granulation. And in the watercolor, because it granulates, we differentiate that and call it lunar black because watercolor is very unique.
But you can't really paint over the watercolor without the risk of it like moving, the paint moving, right?
Yeah, the ground will not move once it's
okay.
Dry,
that's what I wanted to find out if there was something I could paint over. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Okay. Well, thank you everybody for watching. Again, if you really want to see color combinations, let me know. I'd be glad to pull them out Giovanni, I'd love to have you help me, as well as you, Anna, and anybody else. So just list ones you'd like to see. Next week, we'll be doing another family. We've done quinacridone, pyrrols, perylenes. We've done the whites. I think we'll look at the blacks. But if there's combinations that you want to see, just let me know and I'll pull them out. It just takes me a little while to pull them out. Narita has asked for quin, gold, and amethyst. So absolutely, I'll pull those out so we can try those out. Love color combinations. And if you want to show artwork you've done, love to see it. You can see it's very painless. There's just zero pain. I think everybody wants to see what other people are doing. So, and you're super clever. So love to see it. With that, thank you very much. See you all tomorrow. I hope you can join on Friday. Watch the. Yes.
Sorry, John.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, John.
Belle, can you look at your Facebook messages, please? Belle,
thank you.
While you're still on here, can you please look at your Facebook message? I've sent you one, and we're trying to get in contact with you.
That's for Belle.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
I sent my email address last week to hello.
Yeah, I didn't get it. So I sent you my email address in Facebook Messenger.
Okay, fine. I'll look. Who am I speaking to?
This is Jen.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Belle.